Hey everybody, Maffy, Ranter, Jay, happy to see all of you. Sorry about that. 1 second. Still got a bit of the con crud from last week. It actually took a second to hit me, but now that it has, it's just living in my throat. Meaning this is probably not the best game to stream, but I'm a sucker for alliteration, so Wildcard Wednesday. How's everybody doing? And we're on to case 4, Severed Ties. My girl here looks blind. Like, look at her eyes. Also, I'm very upset. I have the same scar as this bastard. Let me turn my head here. Let me, right there, right on the cheek. Ugh. Up until now, we've been following the story of Tyrion I'm sorry? We've experienced the world through his eyes and fought for justice through his soul. But this time, why don't we start from the perspective of another? Okay, you have my attention. Tell me about the update to the Ring camera. Ooh, you guys got the Ring camera working? But I thought we needed Wi-Fi for that there. I can't believe Cuthbert read the client's mind without asking. Wait, are we playing as Timora this case? It's starting to become a problem. He's becoming more and more reckless with each passing year. Wish Frey was still alive. She'd know what to do. She made it look so effortless, and he loved her. Would he have listened to her if she was still here? Beatrice. Why is this so hard for me? Beatrice. There we go. Good lord. Beatrice Frega. Freelancer. Is something the matter, Timora? No, I was just thinking about something. Well, the trial is about to begin. Don't doubt your abilities, but I'd still appreciate it if you remain focused. All of our futures are at stake, after all. Ooh. Let me bring the music down a bit. Ooh, that's cool. Of course, Miss Frega. Beatrice takes in a deep breath before she claps her hands together. What's wrong? Nothing. It's just the ritual that I use to calm myself. Right, I'd almost forgotten about that. But more importantly... Yeah, no, Timora, I'm not going to voice act Timora for this one because I want to say it too. What the fuck are you doing here? Well, my father sent me to guide Beatrice through the courthouses. It's a new environment for her, and we're both worried about her condition. I still can't believe you were the boss's daughter this entire time. Why didn't you say anything at the academy? Oh? Knowing my true identity would have caused friction with your son, wouldn't it? He's not my... Anyway, I suppose I understand why you stayed quiet. By the way, 3 women... Now the music's a little too quiet. There we go. 3 women... my vocal range is not that good for women. This is going to be painful. Especially if I got to do Steelwind as well. Anyway, I suppose I understand why you stayed quiet. But I still don't appreciate being kept in the dark about this. Oh, speak of the devil. You spot Cuthbert and McCoy walking into the courtroom with the other members of the gallery. McCoy spots you and gives you a friendly, yet awkward smile. However, Cuthbert ignores you entirely and walks silently into the courtroom. Parental troubles? We had an argument earlier. It's nothing to worry about. If you say so. You are wary of what he saw in Beatrice's mind, though. He's always been a good kid, but his idealistic sense of justice clouds his mind sometimes, or his judgment sometimes. You just hope he's not planning to do anything reckless. God, there it is. I knew she would be here. The trial is about to begin. Do you really have time to be making small talk here? Prosecutor Steelwind approaches the 3 of you, but she appears to be accompanied with someone else. Nightgrave? So you? What are you doing here? Well... He's accompanying me as my aide for this case. I see. So I assume you'll be prosecuting? Of course. I'd never pass up the opportunity to face the infamous Ruby Timora. Really, if I recall, you haven't even beaten Tyrion once so far. Miss Steelwind, don't strain yourself. What's that look for, Beatrice? You almost look surprised to see me here. Considering the circumstances, I thought you might recuse yourself. I am more than capable of being objective, especially for a case of this much importance. Well, I hope your mind is as strong as you think it is. Miss Steelwind, please calm down. Oh, how I love a good reunion. Okay, this is gonna get clipped and taken out of context. There are entirely too many women in this case. Court is now in session for the trial of Beatrice Frega. Miss Steelwind, is the prosecution ready? Miss Steelwind? Oh, of course. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is also ready, Your Honor. God, I love Timora's design. Look, okay. This is only a little bit simping, okay? Oh. One second, Maffey sent me something for the new place. I'm sorry, guys. It is real life stuff. Oh, crap. Sorry about the sniffle. Hey, Ollie. Well, okay. To be fair, Ollie, I don't give a fuck what Reddit or Twitter says. Reddit, Twitter, go fuck yourselves. You can't cancel me. Who are you gonna rat me out to? Myself? Mappy? Map knows what I'm about. Look, I am uncancelable for one reason. I back everything I say. Alright. Because you guys clearly know what I mean when I say too many women in this case. But anything I say, I you know, it's an old saying. Always say what you mean, or always mean what you say. And I try my best to live up to that. The defense is also ready, Your Honor. Something seems off about her today. Is her personal attachment to this case distracting her? Very well, let's begin the proceedings. Now, interesting, though, we're not going to have the Eye of Horus for this. Prosecutor Steelwind, could you please list the charges? Please. Your Honor, the defendant is charged with first-degree murder and grand theft. As many of you know, Beatrice Frege is the formerly missing daughter of the now late William Frege, and the victim of her murder is William Frege himself. Yes, I'm well aware. Then why'd you ask her, dude? The people of Wyvengard will all certainly mourn the house of that loss of House Frege's head. I just don't like social media, to be frank. I know YouTube is technically social media, so it's a little bit hypocritical, and I will use Reddit from time to time. Mostly just to try and keep abreast of certain updates and stuff. I used it a lot more when I played 14. But generally, I can't stand how people are on social media. Please, the only people actually, I think I'll keep the narration and the thoughts still in my voice. Please, the only people mourning him are the banking house's shareholders. But anyway, did you see the defendant is also accused of grand theft? Yes, Your Honor. The crimes took place during the Lord's Ball, an event that was hosted in Frege Manor yesterday evening. And yes, my immature ass immediately went to... Oh. Immediately went to AC/DC. I've got big balls. I wonder if they were dirty, if it was a dirty big ball. The Haraldson Hall of History has had a gallery display within the manor. They were showcasing several magical artifacts donated to the Wyvern Historical Society. One of these items was the Sword of Spell Eating, a magical artifact that allows its wielder to nullify magical effects. Let's see, ancient artifact, when wielded by a creature, that creature and anything connected to them, physically or magically, are immune to all harmful magical effects. Legends say it was forged through a blood contract between a mage and a demon. We, the prosecution, believe the defendant stole this item. She then used it to nullify the magical lock on the victim's study. After breaking into the study, she attacked the victim and slashed his throat open using a letter opener. Okay, already... Yeah, I know, Ollie. I used to love it as a kid. Already we have a contradiction. If she had an ancient magical sword, why did she grab a letter opener to kill him? He died of blood loss shortly after. Let's see. Died at 3:12 a.m. Weird. Cause of death was blood loss and throat slashed open. Both carotid arteries were severed, meaning death had followed mere seconds after the wound was inflicted. Body shows several scratch marks on the face and back. Interesting. Because that implies a fight. Scratch marks imply a struggle. Traces of illusion magic were found on the body, which also doesn't make sense. As for how big this sword is, this is the only thing we've seen. It looks like a standard longsword. So I'd say probably 2 feet. Which, yeah, would be hard to use in close quarters, but not impossible. And certainly not as bad as a letter opener. I see. But what possible motive would the defendant have to murder her own father? William Frege and his daughter were not close. Saying they had a strained relationship would have been an understatement. In fact, 5 years prior to the murder, Beatrice abandoned and fled her home. She went into hiding and did not contact any of her friends and family. Her whereabouts were unknown until she suddenly contacted her father a week ago. My client left the Frege house because of her toxic relationship with her father. She wanted to create a life for herself that was free from his influence and abuse. I won't disagree with your claims. But that just highlights how desperate the defendant must have been. She had clearly fallen on hard times and begrudgingly contacted her father for financial aid. I can't possibly understand why they would schedule this meeting during the Lord's Ball. Okay, objection? Conjecture. You have no proof. But nevertheless, several witnesses did see her that night. And these same witnesses saw her storming out of her father's study in anger. She would have been coated in blood! That too, Ollie. Or it was a desperation. Add to that with the scratches on the victim's face and back implies it was that the person was attacked and just did whatever they could to survive. Clear case of self-defense. But if they saw her storming out of the study and she slit the guy's carotid arteries, she would have been coated with blood. Her father must have refused a request for gold, so she decided to murder him to claim his inheritance. Luckily, we prepared for this in advance. Yeah, they're playing right into her hands. Beatrice fled her family, blah, blah, blah. As per your agreement, this testimony will be confirmed by Mary. Will be confirmed? What you're saying is all conjecture, Steelwind. You don't have any evidence or testimony that confirms what they spoke about. Yes, I'm well aware that you and your client have refused to tell us what was discussed during that meeting. But as long as you both stay silent, my claims are plausible. Be honest, Steelwind, do you seriously think my client committed these crimes in spite of her condition? Yeah, again, she is blind. Condition? What do you mean by that, Miss Timora? Why don't you tell him, Steelwind? Tell the court about my client's disability. Your Honor, Beatrice Frege is considered legally disabled. However, legally disabled? That's a convenient way of putting it, Steelwind. My client isn't just legally disabled. She's completely blind. Hold it! Completely blind? Is this true? We have several medical documents and testimonies from several chirurgeons attesting to that fact. My client is unable to see anything. Okay. Anything through her eyes. What is the meaning of this, Miss Steelwood? Do you expect me to believe that a blind woman performed any of the acts you're accusing her of? I'm glad you also see how ridiculous these claims are, Your Honor. If the court would just let me elaborate. Steelwind, the prosecution's first charge is grand theft. My client would have needed to break into a magically secured display case. Performing such an act would be a difficult task for anyone, much less my client. And the second charge is first-degree murder. My client would have needed to use the Sword of Spell Eating on the lock leading to the victim's study. Then she would have needed to grab a letter opener, overpower the victim, and deliver a precise and fatal blow to the victim's neck. Does any of that sound like a reasonable theory, Your Honor? I'm compelled to agree with you, Miss Timora. I'm going to turn this down a little bit for myself. I think I have the balance almost right, so... Correct. None of us here have actual legal background that I know of. Sorry, that one snuck up on me. It all sounds quite ludicrous, to be perfectly honest. This is just awful. The Steel Ones are clearly just attacking the Fregas now that the head is deceased. Enough! Your Honor, the court has not seen the evidence that supports this case, nor have you listened to the Inquisition's testimony regarding their investigation. Until you have done so, you are in no position to pass judgment. Very well, Miss Steelwind. I suppose you have a point. Guess the young lady has some claws after all. But it doesn't matter. Their case against Beatrice is questionable at best. Frankly, it's surprising that Steelwind even went through with this. It's only a matter of time before the judge sees things your way. To begin, the prosecution would like to call Commander Orm White to the stand. Hey, Gumshoe. Commander White, please testify to the course about the Inquisition's findings. Right. I wonder if this is going to be a short case. We didn't want to cause panic after the sword was stolen, so we activated the manor's silent security system. It put an anti-magic field over the entire manor. We did a search of the house, and we found the stolen sword in the defendant's bedroom. Why would it be in her bedroom? It looked like she was going to run, and Crown Prince Aster told us to stand down, so we just kept a close eye on her. William Frege was in a bad mood that night, so he had already locked himself inside his study. About an hour later, we entered the study and found him lying dead in a pool of blood. The lock was still engaged, and no one teleported in. The perp must have temporarily disabled the lock using the Sword of Spell Eating. We have testimonies to say that the defendant was seriously in debt. She must have murdered the victim to get part of his inheritance. Again, conjecture! Your case against Beatrice is just as you predicted. Then you already have a countermeasure to disprove the existence of any motive. All you have to do is present that to the court. This feels like it should have been the tutorial case. Let's see. Wielded by a creature. Ah, harmful magic. Well, moreover, baby, immune to harmful magic. Anti-magic field. This sword is so integral to the case against my client, so why is the description of his capabilities so vague? To be honest, the sword is magic, but it doesn't seem to behave like any spells we know about. We can't identify its magic like we normally do with our artificy devices. According to Lord Harrelson, its powers are demonic in nature. You ask me, it's all a bunch of hooey. Anyway, it's obvious it doesn't follow the normal rules of magic. Wait, what? What is it, Mr. Mora? It's nothing. Cuthbert's watching from the gallery, so he must have heard that too. Did the Iors have something to do with demons? Now, focus on acquitting the client. You can worry about Cuthbert later. Either way, we've tested the sword's magic on similar locks. When used correctly, it is capable of disabling the lock on Lord Frege's study. Okay, so that disproves mine. What piece of evidence is she talking about? Yeah, because I don't have any information there. Ah, right here, because as per your agreement. Objection. There's something going on that we as the players aren't privy to. Your Honor, the prosecution's case against my client is riddled with holes, and the prosecution's proposed motive is the largest among them. What do you mean, Mr. Mora? Of all the elements in the case, the motive is the most believable. Your client would have much to gain through her father's inheritance. That may be. But that's assuming my client had anything to inherit at all. What? Your Honor, my client fled from her psychologically abusive father 5 years ago. How do you think he would have reacted to that? Lord Frege was a petty and vindictive man. Do you honestly think he'd leave his inheritance to someone who disobeyed him so egregiously? No, he'd do everything in his power to make sure he didn't see a shred of his wealth. Yes, we're already well aware of this. The moment she slams her cane down, you notice the prosecutor wince a little. But she quickly hides it and regains her composure. I do like how the writing with Ruby is very different. Ruby picks up on these little tiny tells, whereas Cuthbert, it's just completely over his head. On the night of the murder, the victim made the decision to disinherit the defendant. However, his murder deprived him of the opportunity to submit his will to his attorney. That doesn't make sense. She left 5 years ago. He would have had 5 years to do it. This only further proves the defendant's motive. She'd have needed to act quickly, lest her father submit the changed will. I'm afraid you're mistaken, Steelwind. William Frege didn't disinherit my client that night. He disinherited my client 5 years ago. I've witnessed testimony from Miriam Frege, William's youngest daughter. By her own admission, her father disinherited my client shortly after she fled the household. What? She never brought that up during questioning. Perhaps she's not as amicable to you as you thought. If you don't believe me, why don't we call her to the stand and ask her ourselves? What are you planning, Miss Timora? I have no idea what you're talking about. Well, it's clear we won't get anything until we hear from Miriam directly. Bailiff, please escort Miriam Frege to the stand. Miriam, is the defense correct? Did your father disinherit Beatrice 5 years ago? Yeah. And you didn't think it was necessary to share this information with me? Well, you never asked. If I recall correctly, you were also tight-lipped during questioning this morning. Are you staying quiet for your sister's sake? The witness just lost her father. You can hardly expect her to recall every detail that's relevant to the case. Also, objection, badgering? Which raises a more concerning question. How did you extract this information? Who knows? Maybe I just have a way with people. Regardless, I suppose you have a point. I'll give the witness the benefit of the doubt, for now. In any case, Miriam, please testify to the court how you found out about Beatrice's disinheritance. Yes, of course. Yeah, forgive me. My vocal range isn't that good with women where I can do, what is it now, 5, 6 different women? One day, we all woke up and discovered that Beatrice had fled from our house. She left a note for us, and in it, she renounced her name and denounced my father. My father later called me and my sister into his study. He told me that he'd completely disowned Beatrice and removed any claim she had to the Frege estate. It was probably a threat to us in case we ever chose to get down the same path she did. He probably wanted to make an example out of her. This all happened 5 years ago. Are you sure this all happened 5 years ago? Yes, even now. I can remember everything clearly. I see. Her speech is getting slower. Is she deep in thought? Nightgrave seems extremely concerned for some reason. And Leaf was there with you at this meeting? Yes, she was. However, Leaf couldn't have possibly been there. Her words are getting more slurred. Hello? You notice her balance is slightly swaying. Hey, are you okay? Of course, What the fuck? I mean, that's kind of what I said, Ruby. By the Scaled Lord, is that blood? Blood? Bailiff, find anyone capable of casting healing magic. Escort them to the courtroom immediately. After some scrambling, a couple of healers are able to help Nightgrave stabilize the prosecutor. In all the chaos, you caught a glimpse of her. There were deep wounds and blood on several parts of her body. She must have used some kind of illusion to hide them, but her disguise is completely dissipated now. Before Steelwind is taken out of the courtroom, you catch her whispering something into Nightgrave's ear. You see a look of confusion from him, but he nods and makes his way to the witness stand. But not before passing a message to the bailiff, who seems equally confused. Just what the hell is going on? Mr. Nightgrave, explain yourself. What is going on? Why was Miss Steelwind so gravely injured? I'm sorry, but I wasn't actually here as Miss Steelwind's aide. I was here as her healer. Her healer? The truth is, Miss Steelwind was violently attacked at noon today. She was in critical condition, but she insisted on prosecuting the case anyway. I owed her a favor, and she asked me to channel my necromancy to keep her wounds closed during the trial. Scared Lord, why didn't she just recluse herself? Interesting, that exact wording. I know recuse, as far as I'm... what does recuse exactly mean? Give me a quick second. We do some studying. Recuse, to challenge as unqualified as able to perform legal duties because of potential conflict of interest or lack of impartiality. And so it wouldn't be exactly right, but I guess it's close enough. She must have known. If anyone else tried to prosecute Beatrice, you would have handily won the trial. Nevertheless, she showed up to prosecute because no one else would, and she did it all despite the risk to her life. It almost makes you respect her a little. Almost. Anyway, is there any need to prolong this trial, Your Honor? Jesus, Ruby! What? Even you must acknowledge how weak against the case of my client is. In addition to that, Miriam's testimony shows my client had nothing to gain from her father's death. Miss Timora! Miss Steelwind has been gravely injured. And you're still only concerned about... The only thing I'm concerned about is seeking justice for my client. Even so, we cannot move forward until we find another prosecutor. And how long do you think that'll take, Your Honor? It's been almost 12 hours since the murder took place. That gives us, what, 36 hours? After that, every magical trace at the crime scene will fully disappear. But there might be someone... If Steelwind had simply allowed another prosecutor to work this case, we wouldn't be in this situation. Yeah, good point, Ollie. Still, this comes off as Timora pulling some shit. Because Timora wouldn't be that cold. This from what I've known. Also, I can't get over this. As per your agreement. She took a risk, and now she has to pay the price. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? You're not exactly proud of winning this way, but this is what it takes to win, and you won't let an opportunity like this pass you by. The judge is clearly unhappy with this turn of events, but it's out of his hands now. Oh, due to today's unprecedented events, I suppose I have no choice. There aren't any prosecutors available to immediately take Miss Steelwind's place. We'll take a brief recess. After that, I'll deliver my verdict. Interesting. Yes! Oh my god, is this going where I think it's going? Are we gonna prosecute this shit? Your Honor, I'm afraid you can't pass a verdict just yet. Mr. Cuthbert? Cuthbert? What the hell are you doing? I don't know. But what I do know is there was a massive contradiction in Miriam Frega's testimony. Looks like things aren't going to be as simple as you expected. Oh my god. Are we going to test... Are we going to prosecute her, or are we still going to play as Ruby? The night before. Ugh, I feel so out of place here. Despite your clear hatred for nobility, you found yourself at a party filled with aristocrats. Hardly recognize anyone, but many of the people here clearly recognize you. You're used to receiving dirty looks from the upper class, but you can literally feel everyone's disdain for you. Why are you in the corner by yourself? I can't believe I let you talk me into coming here. Oh, wow! Look at her! For reasons unknown, you lose your train of... Yeah, I'm sure it's reasons unknown, bro. I've been wanting to wear this dress for a while now. What do you think? What's wrong? You suddenly feel extremely flustered. It's difficult to make eye contact with her. Oh, I see. Are you enchanted by my beauty? Come on, say something. Ever since that night in Arnax, you feel like something's been off between you two. Am I interrupting something? Miss Timora? I wanted to check in on you two before we went to meet with Lord Frega. You spot a woman silently following behind her. Is she the client that Miss Timora is representing? You're pretty sure this is your first time meeting her, but she looks so familiar for some reason. Hi, I'm Tyrion Cuthbert. I'm Miss Timora's ward. You extend your hand to shake hers. She has an aristocratic air to her, so you hope you're not being too informal. Instead of taking her hand, she clasps her hand together and takes a deep breath. What? Ah, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It's a bit of a habit of mine. Oh. Nevertheless, she finally shakes your hand. Well, that's interesting. How did she shake Tyrion's hand if she can't see? And I know the actual wording of the evidence was she can't see through her eyes. I've heard much about you, Mr. Cuthbert. My name is Beatrice. You're not sure about the details, but your mentor appears to be brokering a deal between Beatrice and William Frege. William Frege is the ruling lord of House Frege, so you're a little curious about what kind of deal he'd be involved in. But you've learned not to pry into your mentor's business. Anyways, we'll probably be gone for a while. Can I trust you two not to cause trouble? You're in a manor filled with the highest members of the nobility. You might meet some familiar, yet unfriendly, faces. We'll keep a low profile, Miss Timora. Please do. So, why were you so insistent on accompanying Miss Timora to the Lord's Ball? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, Ollie. Or it's some kind of she has a spell or an enchant or an artifice on her somewhere. My eyes are drawn to the button on her torso. That's also a good point, Maffy. But you gotta think, if you're completely blind, and I know you're at work, so you can't do this right now, baby, but close your eyes and imagine trying to shake someone's hand that you're meeting for the first time. You don't know how tall they are, so you don't know where their hand level is. The fact that she lasered right onto the hand, and we know that she does that little clap ritual whenever she's nervous. So, that's... You know you can tell me anything, right? I guess everything that happened in RNX made me think about things. I don't really know anything about my past or where I came from. Also, I sadly was spoiled on something involving Celeste. I was looking up how long the cases might be. That's a good point. And that would work with what Ollie said. I was looking up at how long the cases would be, just so I could kind of plan things out. And I was accidentally spoiled on a detail about Celeste. I will keep it quiet, though. I didn't want to think about it because of my mom and dad, but you wanted to find out who your biological parents are. I do, but I don't know now. Being here is starting to make me feel weird. I still have my mom, and looking for my birth parents feels wrong somehow. Hey, Sean. I don't think that's true. Really? Miss Timora adopted me when I was a child. She gave me purpose in life. But I still keep my childhood memories of my mother close to me. Miss Timora and my mother are both important to me. I don't think it's disrespectful to find out more about yourself. I'm sure your mother will understand. I honestly agree with Tyrion here. I mean, obviously, I'm not adopted. I can't speak to it. But I feel like if you want to look into your bio parents in that case, it wouldn't be disrespectful to your raised parents. I did, Sean. I actually had a weekend off. So I don't have any house updates. Me and Math went out and down and just mowed the lawn, just to keep it under control. The house is coming along real nice, though. Actually, does anyone want to see pictures of the new place? See how far it's coming? Let me know in chat. Think so. Of course. And I'm also sure of another thing. If I'm with you, I doubt none of the nobles here will want to talk to you. Yeah, I didn't want to be rude, but don't worry, I could find something to fill the time. You're just going to play chess alone, aren't you? Maybe? Alright, let us... Okay, let me pull up Maffy's. Da-da-da. Alright. So, I don't have many pictures of the before. I'm gonna just do a little... Well, it is in streamer mode. It should be fine. Alright, so... We'll do window capture, Discord, yes. Okay, why isn't this working? Oh, because it's looking for a different one. There we go. Nope, wrong one. Get that out of here. What am I... What is going on? You know what? Fuck it. I don't really care. So, come on. The doorway to the master bedroom. We've completely... All the baseboards are redone. We finished repainting most of the wall. You can see up here where we're not quite done yet. The roof has been... I don't think we've repainted all the roof, but we did in the kitchen. We have new lights in there. We got new doors on the closets and the offices. The master bedroom is finally fully floored. Look at that. Baseboards in here too, it looks like. That is where the vent was. We took it out just so we could still paint and take care of everything without messing that all up. We redid everything with this place. The floors, the walls, all the cabinets are brand new. But we did do the kitchen. We did do the kitchen. The bathroom, the master bath isn't done yet, so you can see that's what the old flooring there. See I really do like the difference. Still haven't finished. We still haven't painted the master bath. We're gonna be our master bed. We're gonna be doing that this weekend. This here's my office. You can see the boards here. We don't have the door on the closet yet. You see all the new light switches. Finally got our brand new microwave up. Yeah, that's what I forgot. Oh yeah, I would love it, hon. Thank you. Although I did forget to call the cabinet people, the countertop people. I gotta do that today. Got a new front door. Alright, let me close out a Discord here. And I'll wait to see if Maffey sends me any new ones. So we'll get progress and say, oh, it's a gorgeous microwave. It's fucking huge, too. You really need to learn to talk to other people. Make some new friends or something. I don't need more friends. I usually want to spend most of my time with you anyway. I'm expecting a blush. Hey, there it is. Anyway, I'm gonna go try and talk to some people. Yeah, I'll see you later. Celeste leaves to mingle with some of the other partygoers. You find yourself with very little to do. You doubt whether anyone would want to engage in small talk with the likes of you. Your hand instinctively goes to your satchel. It contains your foldable chessboard. Well, it's not as though I have anything better to do. I used to have a foldable chessboard myself. Those things are great, man. Should try and find an empty table to play on. Each table has a centerpiece of flowers on it. Most of the seats at the table are filled. Doesn't look like you'll be able to play here. So, hallway. This place looks pretty quiet, but there aren't any tables anywhere. I could play on the floor. Puppy! Look at him! What the? Although, seriously, they have a wolf? I forgot to read any of that. I'm sorry, I got excited. What the? While walking through the hallways, you suddenly find yourself face to face with a large wolf. Immediately upon seeing you, the wolf quickly gallops away. Thank you, Ranter. That really means a lot. It does. It's been a lot of work. Okay. So, keep in mind, this is when we first got to the house. It was a mess, and I'm not trying to put the previous owners on blast here. Y'all don't know them anyway, so just keep that in mind. This is what it used to look like when we first got there. This was the living room. The kitchen over here had this ugly-ass thing in the middle. You see the flooring, the paneling on the walls. The old cabinets here. We kept most of them, I will say. Actually, no, we didn't. I tell a lie. But keep in mind that the sink is over here. We got the fridge over here. You see the laundry room in here, the old stove and microwave. I can't believe they took the microwave. I'm still mad about that. The back door was just completely fucked. The master bed. Where again, you can see the same tiling on the walls here. And then... Oh, Rose sent more befores. Closet here. All this was the closet. Which, I actually kind of like this. I've never seen this before. The closet, it's like the master... When you go into the master bed, you walk into the closet, and this... from the closet... has its own, like, full walk-in area, and then another smaller closet area. I need to stop misclicking. Here was the bathroom. This was this was where the kids were. But this is now where me and Rose have set up our offices. The guest bath. And then here was the progress pictures. This was before we tore up the carpet, but all the walls. This is when everything was out. What were we tearing? Oh yeah, this was when I was tearing out the closet. The master bed all cleaned up. The closet cleaned out. Look at this, by the way. Riddle me this. Math will back me up on this. This was the most ridiculous shit I've seen in my life. To hook this up, he essentially nailed it through the bottom and then just put some, like, blocks here to nail, to hide the nail. Why? What even? This was, we just tore out this wall, and you can see through to the other side a little bit there. There's the window we got for Maffey. Yeah, this is when we first finished the yard. Look at this yard, guys. It is gorgeous. A little more, some more in progress. Yeah, Maff's done really good about taking pictures the whole way through. Oh yeah, it's a full, if I'm not mistaken, it's a full acre of property. Let's see. And this is when we were starting to tear off. This is when we tore off the paneling in the master bed. After getting the, I think this is still the closet after tearing oh yeah, this is after tearing the cabinets and the closets out. The kitchen, once we cleaned it out and they took the microwave. It's a pretty little place. Front shot of the trailer in the front yard. You see the living room once we cleaned it out. We finally got the bathroom tub here. Sorry, This is when we just tore up the carpet before we got the actual, like, padding out of it. Got the walls all torn down, ready. Because this is also, we have a contractor working with us, too. I'm not sure about this one. I think this is, this is just, we were piling everything up in the front room. This is where we got all the flooring. You see, this is where we tore out the cabinets. And we put Rose's window in. Honestly, we probably would be done by now, but we've only been working on it on the weekends. Because the contractors are working on it through the week. That's all the cabinets we have now. We finally tore this bitch out. So now, while this still a load-bearing pillar, we actually just converted it into a cabinet rather than just a random pillar. This is when we got the flooring in Rose's room done, into the bathroom, my room. Not sure on this one what we were taking a picture of here. The old front door. It's the same model we got, but we wound up just replacing it. Here's the ceiling before we painted it, I believe. Yeah, because you see that right there. And the difference. Getting the kitchen sink, getting the bathroom sink in there. All this is, I believe, pre-painting the walls. And yeah, the difference when it's after it's painted. Yeah, Matt's done really, really good at keeping track of everything. The new ceiling fan. I can't wait to get this fucking ceiling fan out of my office. I hate ceiling fans. And the worst thing is, I'm not even that tall, but the ceiling is a little small. So, if I reach my hand up, even, like, not even above my head that far, that would just take out my hand. Not to mention, due to the eye surgery I had, that light staring directly into my face when I walk in is just like getting flashbanged. The new ceiling lights in the kitchen. You can see this is before we had the baseboards in. This is the new door. The new back door. Also, we didn't get the pictures of it. Trust me, cleaning up my closet has been in my head the whole process, y'all. And then these, I believe, are the pictures that we showed at the beginning. Oh, yeah. Math did get the better picture of the blocks and screws here. Look at this. And then once we got to the... like, it's been taking work, and we're still pretty far from done. But I'm hoping by this time next month we'll be in there. The cats will be happy. A couple things we haven't taken a picture of is we rebuilt some of the stairs heading to the back door because they were completely rotted through and gone. We tore up the weird little fence that was dividing the property line. Math, you don't know about this one, but we are in talking with people to redo the front fence because it is barely holding together. Yeah, the guy has like 5 to 10-year-olds. 3 of them. In just that house. The guy actually has like 6 kids running around. Listen, I don't mean to blast him all over. Y'all don't know him, but I don't like talking bad about people behind their backs, with one notable exception. But, excuse me. It's been work. But oh my god, seeing it all like back to back to back like that, we've come a long way. And I will actually put a video of the whole like you know, the standard crossfade thing you do of all the process when we're done. In addition, Rose wants to do this herself. Maffy, not Rose, sorry. Maffy wants to do this herself, but we've gotten a big old catio for the cats that's just going to stick out of her window so they can jump out and be in the sun and the fresh air without, you know, being out in the yard. We also have an orange tree we're going to plant there as soon as we're ready. We've done a lot of work on the place. I'm proud of it, and I can't wait. And thank you for all your kind words there, Ranter. Alright. But y'all don't care about me, about my house. Y'all care about the mystery. Did someone leave a door open? Tyrion. That was a fucking wolf, and it had a collar. Thank you, Sean. You think about telling someone, but you remember the manners full of nobles. MIB remember removal? I love MIB, but you've lost me. The Neuralizer? You're sure a servant will spot it eventually. It's not if anyone will believe you anyway. But it'd probably be best to find somewhere else to play. I love these. Several jewels mounted on the wall. They look equidistant from each other? Judging by context, I think that just means, like, within equal distance. You knew that House Frege was wealthy, but embedding jewels into the wall makes the place look kind of tacky. I disagree. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, the Neuralizer yeah. I disagree. This looks nice. I like this hallway. Oh, and now we have the size of that sword, Ollie. That is indeed a full-size sword. But it does look almost like a bastard sword. You look further around the manor and find a room with several displays. Looks like a gallery of some sort, but it's slightly out of place here. There are a few nobles in the room, and they're all silently appreciating the exhibits. Perhaps Lord Frege paid a museum to create some historical displays for the Lord's Ball. Now there's a face I haven't seen before. Monkey! You take a closer look at one of the exhibits. An old man approaches you. Is that a monkey on his back? Hello! My name is Harold Haroldson. I'm the curator of this collection. Haroldson? Is that a pseudonym or something? Nope! I mean, wouldn't that basically just be Harold, son of Harold? Yeah, Harold, son of Harold, son of Harold. So he'd be Harold the Third. I see. Wait, he's a museum creator? Curator. He must be extremely knowledgeable about Wyverngard's history. You wonder, do you happen to know anything about the ancient dragons? Ah, like the Scaled Lord, Rathalion. There are many pieces in this gallery, and some of them were items that were wielded by the 7 heroes of Wyverngard. Legends say that some of these items were directly enchanted by Rathalion himself. Enchanted by Rathalion? Would that mean they also don't follow the rules of magic? Perhaps you should examine these items more closely. No, we're talking to Mr. Monkey Man. So, what's a historian doing at the Lord's Ball, Mr. Haroldson? Harold. Right. Harold. Even the monkey got angry. He's a little pit hat. Lord Frege invites my museum to set up some displays here every year. He must think it adds some semblance of culture, the fool. It really does. Like Jake Jacobson. Same thing. You own a museum? Ooh, I just noticed his pin. I like this. Or brooch. I don't know. It's the Harrelson Hall of History, located in the city of Homhereth. That is a tongue twister. Harrelson Hall of History in the city of Homhereth. That's a mouthful. Unfortunately, I don't think his guests appreciate the historical significance of these items. Honestly, I think you're the only person in years who's taken a meaningful interest in them. Sorry, but I really have to ask, is that a monkey riding on your back? Yes, this is my familiar, Eugene. Your familiar? A familiar is a creature that a mage has formed a magical bond with. With that bond, our souls are forever connected. I can communicate with him telepathically. I can even cast my spells to him if I wanted. Really? Never knew a spell like that existed. It's quite rare. Very few mages take the time to learn how to cast it. Interesting. Caster forms a magical unbreakable bond with a target creature, connecting them to the target's magic. Dirt Diggler. I'd trust someone named Stabby McCuddington, okay? Yeah, Eugene is a great monkey name. Wait. If he can telepathically communicate with the monkey, does that mean the monkey told him his name is Eugene? While this bond exists, the caster can telepathically communicate with the target over any distance, can also choose to see through the target. So it is D&D familiar. Actually, it might be a little stronger. Eugene helps me with my day-to-day. These old bones aren't as spry as they used to be, after all. Harold. Stanley. You're still mad that Ares was named Stanley, aren't you, baby? Harold. Wait, I said that. As a historian, do you have a lot of knowledge about the ancient dragons? The answer to that question is somewhat complicated. What do you mean? Unfortunately, a lot of historical text in my collection has been altered or even outright destroyed by the Church of Bahamut. Jay! Control your people! Because of that, it's quite difficult to separate myths from actual historical accounts. Right, I remember encountering a similar problem at the Imperial Academy. You must be quite dedicated to your studies. They let this simpleton into the Imperial Academy. So dude's a dick. Rude. But you suppose that can't be helped. I had to fight the church for a long time before I could even display dragon bones in my museum. So, history of the ancient dragons. Was there any instance of them granting powers to humans? Well, of course. That's the entire premise behind the 7 Heroes of Isengard. Does this idiot not even know about that? Right. But was there anything before that? Did they ever grant supernatural abilities that didn't follow the rules of arcane magic? Granting supernatural abilities, you say? Sounds more like something demonic in nature rather than draconic. Demonic? Much like the ancient dragons, demons are the stuffs of myths. There are many stories about people selling their souls to them for untold power. Selling their souls? Thank you, Monkey Man. It's a painting of some sort of Kickstarter backer. That man is Dr. Luke Cooper. He's an alchemist and an inventor for one of the branch families. He's well known for his studies for imbuing intelligence into automatons. Intelligent automatons? Would that make them similar to arcane constructs? Yes, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if Lord Von Sanctus used Dr. Kepfer's research to study those constructs. God, I can't read today. So, in essence, Von Sanctus is taking credit for someone else's work. It's a painting of another Kickstarter backer. That's Professor Matt Ferlin. He was a professor of some renown. He was a researcher of the combinatorial magic theory. What's that? It's the study of how different types of magic interact with each other. He famously ran an experiment on what would happen if 2 anti-magic fields overlapped each other. That's actually pretty interesting. What were the results of the experiment? Well, they had mages enter the space where the 2 fields overlapped. Turns out those mages were able to use magic in that space. Wait, how would that be possible? They'd have 2 anti-magic fields affecting them. Well, I guess if you had the anti-magic... Oh, we're doing your office on Sunday? I thought we were doing the master. And then again, we're probably doing all of it. Ma did say she wants to do a full day. But yeah, theoretically, the anti-magic field would cancel each other out. When the 2... Yeah, exactly. It's akin to multiplying 2 negative numbers together. What do we got here? Because it clearly wants me to go to the sword. It's a paler metallic armbands. There's several magical runes carved into them. Those are the armbands of intellect. They were actually created by a member of House Frege many centuries ago. Centuries? That'd make one of these armbands one of the first creations of artificy. That's correct! Legends say whoever wore these armbands would be granted unparalleled levels of intellect. Many believe House Frege created these to aid them in their study of magic. Oh, that's a clue? The armbands are an ancient artifact. When worn by a creature, the intelligence will be increased beyond the limits of an average human. So to 20. Legends say this is... Blah, 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 blah. Okay. How about the earrings? It's a pair of gold earrings. Small jewels embedded in each of them. The earrings of vitality. It's said that the Scale Lord imbued a portion of his immortality into these. Legends say whoever wore them would have their lifespan increased tenfold. Scale Lord could do things like that? Of course. He is the Scale Lord, after all. Are there any spells that can create similar effect to these earrings? Not that I know of. A spell like that would probably fall into the school of necromancy. And I'm sure you know how much the kingdom scrutinizes that type of magic. It's a crimson red short sword. That's the sword of spell eating. Legends say it has the power to protect its wielder from any kind of magic. That's... Hold on. Any kind of magic? But... Oh, I don't have the... So it's like an anti-magic field. In a way, yes, but it has less than heroic origins, I'm afraid. It said the sword was created through a blood pact between a mage and a demon. A demon? Legends say some demons had the power to absorb and nullify magic. A demon must have imbued some of that power into the sword. Ah, fair enough, baby. I trust him, though. Is it safe to put something like this on display? What if the legends are true? Don't worry. These displays are fortified with several abjuration spells. I'd bet even Lord Steelwind would have trouble getting into this. You recall the note your mother left you before she was executed. Use my eyes, peer beyond the divine gate as I once did. Should you use her eyes? Did your mother make a deal with a demon to give you the Eye of Horus? Is something wrong? This simpleton is far too superstitious. No, nothing's wrong. It's a bit too much to take in, but you might be overthinking this. There haven't been any recorded sightings of demons in recent histories. Only secondhand story and superstitions. The Eye of Horus can't possibly be demonic, can it? You hope Celeste's investigation is going better than yours? How dare you insinuate that I engaged in an adulterous relationship? That's not what I... Enough! If you would speak with me again, I'll have the Kingsguard throw you out. This isn't working. I don't think asking them like that would be very effective. What? Oh my god. Hi. Steelwind, how you doing? Did you expect anyone here to be truthful with you? You're essentially asking them if they cheated on their spouses. Have you been spying on me? Not intentionally. I was just surprised to see you here, of all places. Right, I guess that makes sense. You're not party crashing, are you? Also, anyone with a sweet tooth? Macaroons? What the hell is... This looks like a bun of some kind. Sweet cakes. Look, I'm aware of all treats on screen, but she is 18, so... Salads look amazing, but the meat, the kebab, the bread, whatever the hell that is... I'd be party crashing. Of course not! I came with Ruby and Tyrion. That honestly raises more questions than answers, but I'll take your word for it. Anyways, you're looking for your birth parents, aren't you? Was I being that obvious? It's the only reason I could think of. Why else would you try and speak with members of the nobility? I don't know if it's any of my business. But it's hard, but think hard of whether this is what you truly want. Getting entangled with the aristocracy will only bring you misery. I've read your file. You have everything you could ever want. You have your mother and your friends. You even have a lover. What? You're in a relationship with Mr. Cuthbert, are you not? No, Tyrion's not my... Really? From the way you two behave around each other, I just assumed. It's pretty obvious you have feelings for him. What? How obvious? Does he seriously not notice? I'd think someone with his deductive reasoning skills would easily see through you. Yeah, you know what? Cupcake for Sean, macaroons for Ollie. I don't have much of a sweet tooth, but I guess I'd take a slice of the cake here, of the swirl cake. Because I do love strawberry. I'm going to be over here in the meats, though. That's where I'm going to be. You guys can have all the desserts. I love now me and my chat are just now planning a raid on a noble party just to steal their food. Oh yeah? What about you and Aster? I have no idea what you're talking about. Come on, I was there at the Von Sanctus Manor. It's so obvious you like him. Also, Bechdel test has been decimated. Please, you're grossly exaggerating things. He may be my fiancé, but I have the utmost respect for him. And what if I told you who's standing right behind you? Do you honestly think I'd fall for something like that? Yeah, I'll also tear up the salads, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, that's why this here, whatever these cuts of meat are, oh. Yeah, especially a noble party, Ollie. Do you want to hang out with the aristocracy? What are you falling for? Ah! Your Highness! Oh, hello, Lady Steel. This is adorable child. This is obviously the prince's younger brother, but he is precious. He is Bean. Hello, Lady Steelwind. Your Highness, please don't run ahead like that. Your conversation with Harold was definitely interesting, but you still find yourself with very few leads. Be it dragons or demons, the origins of the Eye of Horus still remain a mystery. You find yourself returning to the ballroom, and you spot Celeste in the corner with some other people. Is she with Aster and Steelwind? Hey, Aster, what do you think of Steelwind's dress? It suits you very well, Miss Steelwind. You look lovely. I love it when the Eye of Horus just gets nothing. D-S-A-F-J... Whoa. Oh, they've done this joke before and it got me just as good then. Gross. As you approach the group, you're stopped by a knight from the Kingsguard. He stares you down. What? Reprio Arcanum. That's the incantation for detect magic. The knight stares you up and down. Celeste doesn't cast any spells on you lately, so he shouldn't be able to see any traces of magic. Oh, Mr. Cuthbert! What was that all about? My apologies. They were making sure you weren't disguising yourself with an illusion. The Kingsguard are charged with keeping us safe. They must take every precaution to protect us. Oh? And who might you be? Do not speak so familiarly with me, peasant. Alaric! Do not... Oh, God. I'm sorry, I have a character named Alaric. And that character... ironically is the Lord of Serpents. But... no, he's not... Of course the older brother is the sweetheart. Why shouldn't I speak with him as I please? I am Prince Alaric de Wyvengard the Sixth. I will not demote myself by showing courtesy to a commoner. The naming demean. I'm terribly sorry about him, Mr. Cuthbert. It's fine. Anyway, weren't you supposed to be investigating your birth parents? Leave the poor woman alone. She started it! Right. I'm actually quite surprised to see you both here. What brings you to the Lord's Ball, Mr. Cuthbert? We were just accompanying Miss Timora. Her client has business with Lord Freyga. Her client? Oh! Beatrice? Beatrice suddenly storms through the ballroom. She almost walks right past you before she hears Aster's voice. Okay, once again, I would like to point out, this is supposedly after she just slit her father's throat, and she is pristine. Not a drop of blood on her. Actually, no. My Alaric is essentially, he grew up, you know, trying to think of how to make this setting agnostic. He grew up in a society that values nothing but strength, power, you know, viciousness. And one day he meets a woman, and he sees her from a distance, and he gets this feeling immediately of, like, I want to protect her. I would be upset if anything happened to her. You know, basic lovey-dovey shit. And he doesn't quite understand what he's feeling. And he does the normal raised in power thing, where it's like, she makes me weak. These emotions I feel are weak. Yeah, Tartarus. It is the Greek form of hell. But like I said, hon, I'm trying to keep it setting agnostic and just kind of give a general view of him. But yeah, he does that, the normal, you know, feelings make me weak. But unlike other characters, he longs for that weakness. The fact that she makes him feel vulnerable and weak is something that he adores. And so he immediately seeks her out, and it's just like, I'm staying near you because you make me feel weak, and I want to feel weak. His whole story was inspired by the song From Hell with Love. I just love the idea so much of, instead of the you make me weak because feelings are weak and I must destroy that weakness, it's feelings are weakness, you make me weak, please make me weaker. I want to feel like I can be weak again. That's my Alaric, King of Serpents. Alright, oh yeah. She looks furious. Did her discussion with Lord Frege go badly? Oh, that voice. Is that you, Aster? It really is you. You called him Aster instead of Your Highness. Do they personally know each other? I'm glad to see you again. It's been quite some time. Happy and sad. Is that really all you have to say? Sad and afraid? It appears you two have much to talk about. I'll be taking my leave. Exactly, Ollie. And he doesn't quite fully understand it, but the line from the song that specifically that inspired him. Let me get the exact lyric up. Beast. It is from Beast in Black, which is probably my favorite band. Here, the whole chorus that inspired him is, another voiceless cry, another hopeless try. I wish you'd open your wings and take me inside. From hell with love I write, confess my passion crime, 'cause to my heart, soul, and mind you are kryptonite. And I just took that and just like flip it on its head. What if instead of just I want to be near this person because I want to feel weak? I don't think so, Maffey. I think that's... Steelwind seems a little too professional for that. No. The girl he's crushing on is this little waif of a thing, little slip of a woman. He wants to feel like he can let his guard down for once. Again, he basically lives in Mesobinar, where, you know, if he lets his guard down for a minute, he might get stabbed in the back. So the fact that he feels like there's this woman that he can let his guard down around, it calls to him. More fear all around. There's a bit of tension in the air. Celeste, we should probably get going too. No, that's me, Ollie. I want the giant women. I don't know if y'all have seen Angela. She is, that's true, Maffey. I don't know if you've seen Angela over in Marvel Rivals, but, carry me away, please. Wow, that was awkward. Yeah, I wonder how those two know each other. Working with Timora, but she somehow knows Lord Frege and the Crown Prince? Just who is she? Well, you suppose it's none of your business. Anyway, how did your investigation go? I got nothing. I think all I did was make a bunch of nobles mad. Sorry. I know you really wanted answers. I'm sure something will come up. You think so? Might be a little irresponsible to give her hope like this. Yeah, exactly. A noble abandoned her at a tavern in a rundown village. You doubt someone like that would make themselves easy to find. Anyway, I don't want this night to be a total loss. Come on, dance with me. What? It's not really something I... Don't be like that! How often do we get to go to a party like this? Before you have a chance to object, she grabs your hand and starts dragging you to the middle of the room. You received a few dirty looks from the aristocrats nearby. Celeste, people are staring at us. Who cares what they think? They're nobles. Good woman! They're gonna hate us no matter what we do. She takes a hold of your other hand and begins to pull you into a waltz. I don't even know how to dance. I've never done this before. Okay, gentlemen, listen. This is your dapper romance tip of the day, okay? If you find yourself in this situation, whether you're being pulled into there or you're being pushed, whatever it is, if you find yourself on the dance floor and you do not know how to dance, I don't care if it's ballroom dancing. I don't care if it's shaking your ass in a club, all right? Don't worry about knowing how to dance. Because good dancing, true dancing, in my opinion, has nothing to do with steps. Okay? Now, I'm not saying go crash a formal ball and just start shaking your ass. No. But let your body feel the rhythm naturally. Carry her along with it. If she wants to lead, she knows the steps, do so. Don't be afraid of that. You know? But just feel the music. Feel the rhythm. That's what dancing is. Everyone knows how to dance. Not everyone knows how to dance properly. It's easy. Just stop being so awkward about it. It's easy for her to say. Alright, just tell me what I need to do. Well, first, you need to be closer to me. That is that is actually the cover image of the game. And it's a beautiful picture. She has a gorgeous smile. With one swift motion, she pulls your body closer to hers. Watch my movements and try and follow my lead. You seem to know a lot about these things. I had to do a lot of networking when I was a mercenary. You know how many times I had to charm a merchant into hiring me? I see. You really don't know much about her, do you? You carefully watch the position of her feet and try and match her movements. If you're like Genesis and you can't yeah, let her lead. It's totally fine. If you got 2 left feet, just make sure you don't step on hers. And even if you do... Yeah, this is... Good point, hon. This is a very Final Fantasy VIII moment. I guess Kit Tyrion is the most handsome man in this place. After a while, you find yourself able to match her rhythm. But you still accidentally step on her foot every few beats. She doesn't seem fazed by it. Either she's being polite or she genuinely doesn't feel anything. Generally, even if she does feel it, and Math, back me up on this. Ollie, same with you. And ladies, back me up. I say Math specifically because I have stepped on her feet before. It's... If you can relax and just enjoy the moment, stepping on the feet makes it almost more special. Because then it's so real. And it's something that you can laugh about together and enjoy, you know? Don't stomp on her feet, obviously, but if it happens, roll with it. Just go. There is a level of self-confidence it takes. Hell yeah. I never seen Seinfeld, but I do know I've heard of Eileen, so have confidence in yourself. And I don't mean confidence in the I'm the biggest, baddest motherfucker in the room. Just confidence in that she's dancing with you. Of all the people in the world, she chose you. Don't insult her by... And Math's gonna laugh at this because I insult her with this all the time. Don't insult her intelligence by telling her that she chose wrong. She knows what she wants. And if she's dancing with you, she wants you. You just enjoy the moment. Enjoy the time with her. And usually when you're in that case, the best thing you can do is just have fun. Okay, Ranter, that's not fair. Cheating bastard. You're getting it, but don't focus so much on where your feet are. Just look at me. What? Come on, do it. You try and break eye contact with her, but every time you do, you find yourself slowly being drawn back into her eyes. You feel so embarrassed you're becoming lightheaded, and you find yourself sweating more than usual. But at the same time, you don't have any urge to break away from her. There's accompanying warmth behind all the anxiety you're feeling. There he is, the infamous Tyrion Cuthbert. Never turns away from challenging a noble, but can't dance a step to save his life. Her expression doesn't betray a hint of it, but you detect feelings of nervousness from her. Is she just as flustered as you are? Yes! Gentlemen, once again. Thank you, Ollie. once again, half the time, she's going to be just as in her head as you are. You know? So, don't fret too much. Just, music is fun. It's natural. It's rhythm. Just feel it. Go with it. You find yourself relaxing a bit more. And you're somehow able to continue matching your movements. See? There you go. Although, what is it? You know the man is supposed to lead, right? Maybe I don't subscribe to gender stereotypes. Or maybe you just suck at this. It's been a while since you felt this calm. There's always been something you needed to prepare for. A client that needs saving, culprit that needs catching. But you're quite content with this one brief moment you're able to spend with her. We love love here! You almost find yourself getting lost in the mood. Until you spot a familiar face, accompanied with a legion of knights. No, don't tell me. The knights storm their way into where Beatrice and Aster are. Several of the attendees take notice. They all stop what they're doing to see what's going on. Beatrice Frege, by the authority of the Wyvern Guard Crown, you're under arrest. Did he just say Beatrice Frege? Damn it! It was just getting good. We should go see what's happening, shouldn't we? Yeah, let's go. I mean, sometimes you forget Aster's the Crown Prince. And then he gets that face. Honestly, just the shoulder sway. The shoulder sway does a lot. It helps you get with the rhythm. It is a very natural movement. And then once you're comfortable with matching the rhythm, that's when you can start moving your feet. The one thing that any dance instructor will tell you, and this is just from my couple of, like, cruise dances, all dancing is in two spots on the body, right? Your shoulders and your hips. That's all you got to worry about. The rest of the body will follow naturally. You are completely out of line, Commander. I thought I told you to stand down. Do you not recognize who you're speaking to? Let go of Lady Frege. I can't really do that, Your Highnesses. Aster, what's going on? It's Lord Frege. He was found murdered in his study. And these cretins think that Beatrice is behind it somehow. Sorry, Your Highness. My orders come straight from Steelwind. Lady Steelwind sent you? Beatrice takes a deep breath and claps her hands together. I should go with them. What? No! My brother is right. They have no right to... I don't want to cause friction between you and Arya. She's always been meticulous. I'm sure she's just being careful. I'm sure he'll be exonerated once they thoroughly investigate what happened. The ass to the floor slam. It's called, no. That's not a new craze, Ranter. Everybody knows that. Everybody do the flop. Alright? Okay. Only if that's what you truly want. What? You can't just let them take her away. Brother, she's correct. It's not our place to interfere with the laws of our kingdom. But, however... Yes, Your Highness? Miss Beatrice is blind. One of your knights will need to escort her. She's what? Did he just say she's blind? Anyway, we're gonna need to take you to a holding cell, lady. One of you should stay with her and guide her, though. Please, I may be disabled, but I'm not a child. Beatrice walks past the knight and heads towards the foyer. It appears she already knows the way out. Shouldn't you all be following her? Right! Inquisition! Move out! Definitely didn't expect the night to go like this. Just what's going on here? I believe they kept us all here until noon. Jesus! If the murder happened at 3 a.m. Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Love this woman already. It's like, get fucked. I'm blind and I can walk myself out. But if the murder happened at 3 a.m. and they kept them here there for noon, so that would be 9 hours? Holy shit. Lord's ball was already running well into the night, even before the murder occurred. You'd like nothing more than catch up on your lost sleep. But you made a promise to Aster. This doesn't make any sense. Beatrice was with me and my brother the entire night. Right, you were there when she met with him in Steelwind. She couldn't have stolen the sword of spell-eating and have murdered her father. I don't understand. Of all the people that could have done this, why would Steelwind suspect a blind woman? Mr. Cuthbert, could you defend Beatrice against these awful charges? I don't even think I'd need to. What? Beatrice is Ruby's client. I'm sure she'll be the one defending her. Oh, that certainly puts my mind at ease. And yet, we wind up against it. What's wrong? I don't know if I'm asking too much, but could you still investigate the crime scene for me, Mr. Cuthbert? What? Well, we just said Miss Timora... Well, I know. I don't doubt her abilities. Beatrice is a dear friend of mine. I'd like every chance for her to be found innocent. You said she was a dear friend. They must have known each other since she's a Freyga. But why would Miss Timora, of all people, represent a member of a noble house? There's still a lot of things you don't know about her. Of course, I'll also compensate you for your services. Consider yourself blessed. A commoner could only dream of a job like this. Alaric. The tiny prince is a point, though. Payment from the crown prince does sound tempting. I can't believe this. Celeste returns to the ballroom. She's changed back to her normal clothes. What's wrong? The people in the coat room said they couldn't find my sword. They told me someone must have stolen it. What? Interesting. Why would someone want to steal Celeste's sword? Aside from your group, everyone else at the ball was an aristocrat. You do recall her saying it was forged in the Eastern Kingdoms. Someone might have stolen it because of its rarity. We could probably keep an eye out for it when we investigate the manor. This might all be some kind of mistake. I hope so. Anyway, where should we start first? We should head to the crime scene. I remember hearing them say they found Lord Freyga's body in his study. Let's go over there. Okay, already I'm noticing a few things. Not only is the room it's completely fine, but he fell forward. Had to have fallen forward, right? And the blood seeping around there, again, means that the blood was everywhere. So she would have had to be covered in blood. She cannot be guilty. Oh, yeah, let's see. You arrive at the crime scene and see the usual swarm of Inquisition Knights. However, you also spot some members of the Kingsguard. Must be working together since the victim is from one of the Pillar families. I wasn't expecting to see you here, Mr. Cuthbert. I thought Ruby Timora was defending this case. Prosecutor Steelwind approaches as you enter the study. And she's followed by an unexpected, yet familiar face. Okay, hold on, but why was he already with her? Wallace? What are you doing here? He's here as my aide for the investigation. So she was already attacked? You don't doubt Wallace's abilities, but you can't think of any reason why Steelwind would need his help. Suppose it's none of your business. Anyway, we're here on behalf of Crown Prince Aster. He hired us to investigate this case independently. I see. I'm sure he just wants to make sure the investigation goes smoothly. Well, if you're here on behalf of His Highness, I'll do whatever I can to help you. This whole situation is unorthodox, but your goal remains the same. Perhaps Steelwind can tell you more about what happened. Please. What can you tell me about the murder? William Freyga was found dead in this room after the lockdown was lifted. Wait, lockdown? What lockdown? Well, we can tell. His throat had been slashed open with a letter opener. The cause of death was blood loss. Both of his carotid arteries were severed. Here's the autopsy report if you want a detailed description. We already saw this. Were you able to find the murder weapon? Yes. The murderer left it at the scene of the crime. It was a letter opener owned by the victim. The murderer must have found it in his room and used it. There was one strange detail about the weapon. The handle was completely shattered. We're not sure what to make of that detail. Are you retarded? The handle was shattered to avoid fingerprints, you idiot. Looks as something crushed the handle using tremendous force. What could have caused the handle to shatter like that? You mentioned there was a lockdown. When did this happen? You didn't notice? The Inquisition did try and be discreet, but everyone noticed the commotion that Beatrice and the two princes made over it. Suppose you two must have been lost in your own little world, weren't you? Oh. Anyway, you said that Lord Frega's body was found after the lockdown. That means that something else must have happened prior. Supposedly, someone had broken into one of the Heraldson exhibits. One of the magical artifacts was stolen. So it was also a theft last night. Does the Manor's lockdown system behave like the one at the Imperial Academy? Systems are somewhat different. Unlike the Imperial Academy, the lockdown only prevents people from leaving or entering the Manor. So not all the rooms are locked. What about the specific room? This room does have abjuration wards that lock the door and prevent teleportation in and out of it. In addition to that, the system placed an anti-magic field over the Manor. Anti-magic field? What's that? Anti-magic field's a spell that nullifies all magic within it. And the system somehow covered the entire Manor in its effect. If you notice, there are several purple crystals embedded in the walls of the Manor. Each of those crystals produce an anti-magic field during a lockdown. Ah, so that's how it works. So no one could cast magic during the entirety of the lockdown. Not exactly. Someone could have used the stolen artifact to circumvent it. Whoa, hold on. I didn't even think of that. If there was an anti-magic field in effect, his body had traces of illusion magic on it, though. You mentioned that someone could have used the stolen artifact to get past the anti-magic field. Which artifact was it? The Sword of Spell Eating. It was a demon-forged item that could supposedly nullify magic. If the legends were true, someone could have used it to counteract the lockdown system. After Lord Harrelson reported the theft, the Inquisition discreetly placed the Manor on lockdown. They searched every room in the Manor to try and find it, but it was eventually found in Beatrice's bedroom. And that led them to believe she had stolen it. That's correct. King Guard moved to arrest her, but Prince Astrid ordered them to stand down. Didn't look like she was planning on fleeing, so they planned to wait until after the party had ended. But then they found Lord Frega's body. Correct. We believe that she used a stolen sword to nullify the magic locks to break into Lord Frega's study. But you had the sword. Thank you! If she had the sword, why wouldn't she use that to commit the murder? We're not entirely sure. We have a few working theories. She might have wanted to prevent the theft from being tied to the murder. Or perhaps she had more confidence wielding the knife over the sword. Regardless of her reasons, it's clear the sword isn't the murder weapon. So she's not just being implicated in Lord Frega's murder. She's also being charged with stealing the Sword of Spell Eating. But what possible reason would she have to do either of these crimes? Since the body was found here, was Lord Frega locked in this room during the lockdown? Yes. William Frega knew this room should have been secured. He was supposedly in a bad mood, and he had locked himself in the room for most of the night. Oh, excuse me. He refused to let anyone into the room. The only person he spoke to after that was his daughter. His daughter? You're talking about Miriam? No. Lord Frega had another daughter. I'm referring to Leif Frega. Leif Frega? Lord Frega's middle child. She tried to tell her father about the theft, but he was apparently preoccupied about something else. But wait, how would she be able to get in if it was already locked down? He said he would stay in the study for the rest of the night. When did this happen? Shortly before the lockdown was activated. A little after 1 a.m. Oh, obviously. Eris, 1,000% has something to do with this. I do not trust that bitch. Wow. Leif looks nothing like her sisters. Leif must have been the last person to see Lord Frega alive then. You should speak with her and get more details about Lord Frega's actions. By the way, Steelwind, do you have a map of the manor? I do. Would you like a copy? Please and thank you. Were there any other witnesses aside from Leif who saw Lord Frega that night? Perhaps someone heard what happened from a nearby room. There was someone who heard the altercation, but it was quite obscured. A servant was trapped in a storage room nearby. There's an air vent that connects this room to the storage room. He supposedly heard sounds of a struggle through that vent. What did the witness hear? Wait, sounds of a struggle, but he had his throat slit and died instantly, and there's no signs of a struggle in the room. What did this witness hear? There were sounds of a struggle before he heard Lord Frega choking on his own blood. Now when the lockdown was lifted, he informed the Kingsguard of what he heard. So they discovered the body. I see. Who was the servant? I believe you actually know him. His name is Jan Hughes. Wait, Mr. Hughes is here? Never expect to see him again, much less here of all places. But if you heard the altercation, you definitely want to speak with him. I think I'm lacking a lot of information about the defendant. From the way you were both acting, you and Aster seem to know her. Your mentor didn't tell you about her. No, I try not to pry into her business. I see. I honestly don't know much about what happened either. And Beatrice was Lord Frega's eldest daughter, former heir to the House Frega. Former heir? About 5 years ago, she fled Frega Manor and went into hiding. None of us knew where she'd gone. She ignored any attempts we made to contact her. She even used magic to prevent us from scrying her. Last night's ball was the first time in years Aster and I had seen her. We already know. If that's true, then how did Miss Timora meet her? Would you happen to know why Beatrice was meeting with her father after all these years? I have some ideas, but nothing concrete. I was hoping you could tell me. Timora and Beatrice have both refused to disclose anything about their meeting. What could that meeting have been about? Speaking of which, I haven't seen Timora anywhere in the manor. As the defendant's attorney, I'd have thought she'd have been here to investigate the murder with you. That is strange, but Miss Timora has always had her own way of doing things. Perhaps she's using a different strategy. Anyway, I imagine she met with her father to request financial aid. I mean, it would follow. A slash to the neck could be self-deletion. But that doesn't answer the destroyed handle. Or the scratches on his face and back. Why do you say that? I have it on good authority that she was deeply in debt. And that's the only reason she would speak with her father after all these years. That's conjecture, bitch! It's also why I believe she murdered her father. Think she murdered him for his inheritance? It's the only motive that makes sense. Alright, there's a lot to work through here. The prosecution will try and assert that Beatrice committed the murder. But what would she have needed to carry out the actions described? Hey, here we go! So the first thing we need to do is to narrow down the time which the murder occurred. When did the murder occur? The body was discovered the body was discovered after the lockdown was lifted, and Leafa Frega saw her father before it was activated. He entered his study and she watched as the lock engaged. Let's see. The theft caused the lockdown. No. If we assume that Leaf's testimony is correct, William Frega was alive before the lockdown was triggered. Not only that, he stayed in the study for the rest of the night, which means he never left his study. Let's see. Oh. The murder occurred after the lockdown. During. Right. The murder must have occurred during the lockdown. But that means the murderer somehow got past the abjuration wards that protected the room. Those wards blocked teleportation, and they magically locked the only door leading into his room. Steelwind and the Inquisition believe that Beatrice used the sword of spell eating to get past them. Regardless of what they think, we need to assume the murderer used some kind of magic nullification to get into William's study. I'm so sorry. I had a nap before this, too. I don't know why I'm yawning. But that's not necessarily true, is it? What if the murderer entered the room before William locked it? If they were in the room when William locked it, they'd have been trapped here until he decided to leave. Not only that, they'd have been discovered the moment the guards entered his study. Maybe they used some kind of invisibility. Or they could have teleported away the moment the king guard unlocked the door. Teleportation didn't occur. We didn't find any traces of conjuration magic. What about Celeste's theory of an invisible assailant? I'll admit we did find traces of illusion magic, but the moment the guards saw the body, one of them cast Detect Magic. With that spell, they would have seen any invisible people hiding in the room. Wait, you can use Detect Magic like that? Of course. It's standard procedure. Like all spells, invisibility leaves traces on the magic on the person it's cast on. So mages can use Detect Magic as a way to see through invisibility. We know for sure they weren't here before or after the lockdown. This means whoever committed the murder used some way to bypass the abjurative wards that protected this room. The next thing to consider is the murder weapon. Where did the murder weapon come from? The letter opener that was presumably owned by William Frega. The murderer probably used it to avoid leaving evidence that incriminated them. The murderer took the murder weapon in Frega's study. Right, the letter opener came from this room. The murderer probably wanted to avoid using a weapon that would have implicated them, so they decided to use it and leave it here after the deed was done. But that leaves a glaring hole in the prosecution's case. And what would that be, Mr. Cuthbert? Beatrice Frege is secretly blind. No. However, the plot is who she's targeting it with. Oh, is completely blind. Beatrice Frege is completely blind. Even if she were somehow to break into a highly guarded exhibit, how'd she slip past the guards and enter Lord Frege's study? Furthermore, how'd she locate the letter opener if she couldn't see it in the first place? None of it makes sense. Committing this murder unseen would have been a tall order for anyone. I can hardly believe a blind person did all of it. You'd do well not to underestimate her, Mr. Cuthbert. What? You don't know her as I do. She's far more capable than you realize. She must be the one behind this. See, I believe that Arya believes she did it. I firmly believe that. Suppose I wouldn't know. The idea that Beatrice did any of this is still ludicrous. Suppose I can't change your mind about that. But I have to ask you a question, Mr. Cuthbert. What would you do if you discovered that one of your clients was guilty? What? I mean, I tend to have an insight into these sort of things. That'd never happen. I've already seen your uncanny ability to read people, but I'm only hypothetically speaking. So, what would you do if they were guilty? I suppose I'd withdraw and tell them to find another lawyer. And if no one else would represent them? I don't know. It'd definitely be a hard choice for me. But I'd never be able to represent them if I knew the truth. I just can't stand by and let a murderer escape justice. I see. Why do you ask? No reason. Okay. Anyway, she's made her stance clear. You still have a lot of leads to follow up on. You should move somewhere else. You enter the storage room, hoping to investigate the air vent that connects to Lord Frege's study. When you come across a person laying on the floor. What? Dan, is that you? Oh, man. What's all the noise? Ares, you reek! Stinky cat! What are you coming over here for, huh, boy? Oh, Stinky. Who's having such a good nap, too? Mr. Hughes? Oh, it's you two. Why are you taking a nap in the storage room? Needed to take a break from all the chaos going on. Kingsguard won't let any of us leave until they finish investigating the murder. This pompous noble shooed me away when I tried sleeping on one of the couches. Didn't expect anyone to find me here. Anyway, the prosecutor told us that you heard the murder from here during the lockdown. You think you could tell us what happened? Sure, why not? My nap's kind of ruined anyway. No, not evidence. Examined. Ah, what's wrong? You can't see it, but the entire room is covered in traces of abjuration magic. Everything is glowing white. Right, that makes sense. There were several anti-magic fields covering the manor. Those fields probably left traces of abjuration everywhere. Oh, great. I won't bother showing you traces of aberration I find while we're here. Thank you.
Arcanum.
Let's check that vent. It's the air vent that leads into Lord Frege's study. Supposedly Jan heard the altercation between Lord Frege and his assailant through this. So you're working as a servant now? Not exactly. Well, I was part of the catering staff. The twins started their own food business after Frege threw us out of the academy. Right. Sorry about that. Nah, it's not your fault. Even if Redmond was still a headmaster, sure the board would have found some other way to get rid of us. Wait, are Valentina and Valerie here too? Nah, they just contracted some staff to Lord Frege for the Lord's Ball. I think a bunch of other businessmen did the same thing. You wonder how they feel about this. They lent their services to the very man who got them fired in the first place. William must have offered them a lot of gold. And I can't believe I got myself pulled into another murder investigation. Did I have bad luck or what? The prosecutor told us you heard the altercation through the air vents. She tell us exactly what you heard. I didn't hear everything. I was taking a nap in this room when it happened. Why were you napping here? I didn't have a choice. I accidentally closed the door when the lock was engaged. Before I knew it, I was trapped in here. Right, you recall Steelwind mentioning that. Anyway, I heard the sound of some kind of struggle going on. Couldn't hear everything, but I heard Lord Frege shout, "Who are you? What do you want?" So it couldn't have been his daughter. I went on for a few seconds. Then I heard the sound of someone getting stabbed. Did you hear the voice of the assailant?
Ares, what are you doing?
They didn't say anything, but I did hear them. The voice was really raspy. I think they had a sore throat or something. Oh, they were trying to mask their voice. But now we have decisive evidence from the same witness that it couldn't have been Beatrice. Why'd you enter the storage room anyway? The servants were complaining about rats running through the air vents, so they sent me to take care of it. I heard one of them running through the vents upstairs, and I followed it here. Figured I had nowhere else to go, so I opened it up and put a trap down. After I was done, I tried to leave, but the door was locked. I didn't have anything else to do, so I took a nap. He only heard a few words after the murderer struck the final blow. It doesn't give you much to go on, but his testimony... What the fuck do you mean it doesn't give us much to go on? Are you high, Tyrion? For now, you should probably... Yeah. He literally said he didn't recognize the killer. Come on, Tracker. Where are you? Sneeze. As you enter Beatrice's room, you're unexpectedly met with a large cloud of dust. Wow, this place has not been cleaned. Ooh, you're pretty. Oh, your vision clears up, and you realize there's someone else in the room with you. Sorry, I didn't mean to intrude. There's no need to apologize. But I would like to know what you're doing here. We're here on behalf of the Crown Prince. We're investigating the murder of William Frege. Oh, I see. Apologies. I didn't quite get your name. My name is Leaf. Leaf Frege. So this is Leaf. According to Steelwind, she was the last person to see Lord Frege alive yesterday. Find some information about how he was acting that night. Psychological profile. We're gonna have to argue with her. Sorry for your loss, Lady Frege, but do you mind if I ask you some questions about last night? Prosecutor Steelwind told us you were the last person to see him alive. Notice anything unusual about your father's behavior? He was extremely upset about something. I think Beatrice may have offended him during their meeting. The servant said he wanted to be left alone. He retreated into his study immediately after their meeting. I tried to speak with him when the theft was reported, but he didn't care much about the missing artifact. He told me to leave him alone and let the Kingsguard investigate the sword. He's probably busy making the changes to his will. Okay, so there were changes to the will. But what would the changes be? Unless he was trying to bring her back into the will. That's an interesting thought. When did you speak with him last? It was before they activated the lockdown, a little after 1 a.m. that night. Do you have any idea what he was doing in his study? What? No, I have no idea. You detect some fear from her. Lady Frege, is there something you're not telling us? It's important we know about your father's actions before his death. Sorry, I don't know anything else. My father was a private man and didn't share much with anything, even his own family. I wish I could be of more help, but I really don't know anything else. I refuse to believe that's why he was killed. She's clearly holding something back. You can reveal what she's hiding through an argument. She might be more willing to cooperate, but you'll need more information about William and his will first. In the meantime, you should figure out what else she knows. I noticed this room hasn't been cleaned recently. Do you know why? It's because I've forbidden the servants from cleaning this room. Also, what is the tracker she was looking for? And I do love the black paisley, by the way. Why would you do that? Beatrice is very dear to me, and I couldn't have her room bear to have her room disturbed after she left. This room is the only memory I had of her after she left. Suppose that makes sense. She must have been holding on to the hope her sister would return. What about the sword of spell eating? You know how it ended up here? I'm not sure. It's possible someone planted it here to frame Beatrice. I can't see why they'd choose this room, though. What kind of person was your father? Ooh, complicated emotions there. Doesn't look like William Frege was very beloved. My father was a complicated man. He was a brilliant scholar and a businessman, but a cold and distant father. Did he have any enemies? As the head of House Freyga, he controlled nearly every banking house in Wyverngard. There were many people who resented his wealth and power. Do you remember anyone specific? Someone he'd slighted recently? There was Lloyd von Sanctus, the ruling lord of Arnax? Yes, I heard he was recently involved in a court case. My father had been using the controversy as an opportunity to slowly take control of von Sanctus Industries. From what I've heard, he's been extremely bitter about that. Von Sanctus' reputation must have taken a hit after the Dracogen trials. You doubt he'd get himself involved in another murder. But you can never be too sure. I want to speak with him and get more details. Though would he even consider cooperating with you? Anyway, are there any other enemies he might have had? No, none that I can think of. What can you tell me more? What can you tell me about Beatrice Freyga? God, I heard she fled the Freyga estate 5 years ago. Before she left, Beatrice was one of the most powerful mages I'd ever seen. She is incredible. At the age of 13, her talent for magic had even eclipsed my father's. It was never enough for him. What do you mean? Before my mother died, he desperately wanted a son, but he only ever had daughters. Of fucking course. It would be that, wouldn't it? Everyone thought Beatrice would inherit House Freyga from my father, but our family know the truth. William Freyga would never leave his legacy in the hands of a woman. What? No matter how hard Beatrice tried, my father would never acknowledge her accomplishments. He was extremely cruel to her. He constantly belittled her achievements and dismissed anything she said to him. So, couldn't have happened to a nicer prick. To be fair, Sean, this is, medieval fantasy, the legacy of sons, blah, 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 blah. But, yeah, no, go fuck yourself, dude. Couldn't have happened to a nicer asshole. After the accident, he used her ability... Oh, accident! He used her disability as an excuse to take away what little influence she had. It was an accident that gave her disability? Is that why she's blind? And if it's not too painful for you, could you tell me more about Beatrice's accident? Is this even relevant to the investigation? Any small detail could make a difference. I need to learn everything I can. I'm not sure about exactly what happened, but it was a magical experiment gone wrong. Beatrice was working on a project at the Imperial Academy. She was trying to create a new spell formula. We're still not sure what happened, but there was an adverse magical reaction. The resulting explosion seriously injured her and left her completely blind. Can't imagine how she must have taken that. Actually, she was probably the most unfazed by what happened. And that didn't matter. My father saw his opportunity. He told me he was relieving her of her duties so she could recover. But I knew the truth. He was going to take away her political power and social standing. She was reduced to a mere decoration for our home. And that must have been why she left. Did she contact you during the time she was missing? No. No one had heard from her during that time. But as much as I was worried for her, I was also a little happy. Unlike Miriam and I, she had finally broken free of my father. I had no idea what would cause her to return here. I'm sensing infidelity here, because look at the father, look at look at Beatrice, and then look at Miriam. They all have this kind of icy blue hair. The exact same shade. And then you have bright-ass blonde. Even the eyes. Miriam and William's eyes are both pale. And Leaf's eyes are green. Something's up with Leaf. She's either adopted or illegitimate. Trying to see if I can get any more evidence from her, or anything from her. Even after being blinded, Beatrice continued to fight for her freedom. Despite everything that's happened, she's always remained determined to live her life on her own terms. I remember when she first came back to the estate after her accident, my father was convinced she'd be completely helpless without her sight. But she refused to let her blindness define her. She learned how to navigate the estate using her other senses and continued to study magic. It's ironic, really. My father tried to use her disability as a way to control her, but in the very end, it was the very thing that allowed her to break free. And Let's see. Security? Nope. Don't move. No, I said don't move. Do what I want, not what I say. Lockdown. Let's see. I'll find something, damn it. I'm sure Beatrice's return must have been surprising for you. It is. To be honest, I'd been hoping for years she'd finally return. But now that she has, she's just gotten pulled into another one of our family's messes. Got it! What did you see? Blah, blah, blah. How do I start the argument, though? Again, do what I want, not what I say, damn it. Dresser. So nothing in here to get her to talk. Oh! There's a trace of transmutation magic under the bed. I can't see it clearly. Let me take a closer look. It's the Crimson Lotus! What? It's my sword! What? You never knew her sword had a name. So this is where it's been. Why would it be here? It's also the room where they found the sword of spell eating. Are the two thefts related somehow? Why? The only thing similar about them is that they're both swords. There's really more to this. What? That's interesting. I think you learned everything you can for now. But I want to argue. Explore the manor further and find one of his many sitting rooms. And there you happen to spot a very familiar face. He's sipping on a glass of wine, and his expression turns disdainful the moment you enter the room. Oh, wonderful. As if my day couldn't have gotten any worse. Von Sanctus, what are you doing here? The head of a noble house has just been murdered. I can't very well return to Aranax while my affairs are in such disarray. Anyway, forget what I'm doing here. What are you doing here? I just wanted to have a friendly chat with one of my favorite noblemen. I hear you've been keeping busy since we last met. Must be difficult at losing your empire to House Freyga. Tyrion, we do need his help. Is that so? What makes you ever think I would ever help the likes of you? Hey, no problem, Avalanche. A bit more. Glad you're enjoying it, though. But you only got about 50 minutes left. Ah. Because it would take suspicion off you. And let's face it, with your reputation, you could use all the help you can get. How dare you! I'd have you know I'm still a respected member of the nobility. Bro's wearing a codpiece. I'm sorry. Respected? Is that why everyone's talking about your hand in Justin Way's death? Because the way I see it, being involved in another scandal would destroy what little remains of your reputation. Makes no difference to me. To be perfectly honest, I'd like nothing more than to drag you onto the stand and embarrass you a second time. You can practically hear him grinding his teeth. Very well. If it means I won't have to endure your presence any longer, I'll oblige and answer your questions. Honestly, it's just one mess after another with you. Mess? Wouldn't you have much to gain from William Freyga's death? On a surface level, you might be right, but it's far more complicated than that. House Freyga controls the banking houses. They are the main pillar of support for Wyverngod's economy. William's death could have been an unimaginable economic... William's death could have unimaginable economic consequences, regardless of who inherits his house. I wouldn't be foolish enough to do something like that. That remains to be seen. Think what you will. There are others who would benefit from William Freyga's death. Like who? You mentioned others would benefit. Who? If I had to venture a guess, I would say Lucio Sealwood benefits the most. You mean the prosecutor's father? You just said that Lord Freyga's death could have unimaginable consequences for the economy. Ha! You think that brute cares about Wyverngod's economy? No, all that man cares about is power. Pure and physical power. House Steelwind and House Freyga have been fighting for control of Wyverngod for generations. And in this long-lasting era of peace, the Steelwind's military has become far less valuable to the crown. Going for Lady Steelwind's engagement to the Crown Prince, they might not even be considered a pillar family anymore. The death of William Frege is probably exactly what Lucio Steelwind has been waiting for. And if our economy were to suffer, it would cause civil unrest. In a scenario like that, the Crown would have to rely on Steelwind's forces to maintain order. It does make sense. But could Arya's father really be involved in this? Clearly you think Lucio still wouldn't have much to gain, but can you think of anyone else? Well, there is Harold Haraldson. That can't be his real name. But what would Mr. Haraldson possibly gain from Frege's death? From what I've heard, William was planning to defund the Haraldson Hall of History. Really? Why would he do that? Not sure of the specifics, but supposedly, Lord Haraldson refused to omit the less flattering parts of Isengard's history from his exhibits. It's gotten blatant enough, he's drawn the ire of the king himself. That actually is a good point, considering that's the sort of spell eating is rumored to be demon magic. I can fully see the Crown being real pissy about that. He actually got into a very heated argument during the Lord's Ball about it. I heard that William declared he'd be removing House Haraldson from his estate. You don't want to suspect Mr. Haraldson, but you need to examine every possibility. As the curator, he would have had the easiest access to the sort of spell eating. He could have staged a robbery to cover his tracks. At the very least, you should give Mr. Haraldson a chance to explain himself. Also, I want to look at this. It's painting some adventurers in a tavern. I always love tavern scenes like this. Although it does speak to elves, whatever these are. Actually, I think that's Haraldson's monkey. I think that's Eugene. Dwarf, sick mask. This must be Beatrice Frege the First. The First? According to legend, she was one of the descendants of the 7 heroes of Isengard. She joined a band of adventurers that were traveling across the nation. It's hard to imagine the Freges coming from such humble beginnings. Oh! Big man disappeared. Big man disappeared. Eris is in play. Wait, what? What is it now? That muscular man in the corner. He just vanished. What are you on about? There was never a man there. Sorry, Tyrion, but he's right. No, I'm sure he was there. Are you feeling okay? Okay, so Eris's powers aren't affecting Tyrion now. Perhaps your lack of sleep is making you see things that aren't there. Blah, 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 whatever.
Arcanum.
No magical traces on it. What can you tell me about the defendant in this case? What? She's your client. Surely you would know her better than I. Humor me. I'm sure you're aware that she fled the Frege estate 5 years ago. In doing so, she dealt a blow to House Frege's reputation and directly insulted the Crown Prince by breaking her engagement to him. There it is! Math, you were right. Wait, Beatrice was engaged to Aster? Yes, it was quite the scandal at the time. And Lucio wasted no time in pushing his daughter into taking Beatrice's place. Is that why those three were so awkward last night? Honestly, the situation is just an absolute mess. That woman's return will complicate things. What do you mean by that? I find Beatrice's return to be inconvenient for you. What do you want about now? Please, don't insult my intelligence, Von Sanctus. Fine, if you must know. My son was arranged to marry William's daughter, Leaf. Leaf? Since Beatrice showed no signs of returning, it was apparent that Leaf would inherit House Frege instead of her. I know my days are numbered, so I took preemptive action. William wanted a male heir, and I needed to preserve my house, so we both came to an accord. My son and Leif were arranged to be wed. House Von Sanctus would have been adored, but at least my Jaden would stand at the helm of House Frege. You nobles are absolutely awful. Think what you will, I wouldn't expect a commoner to understand. That's the problem with your generation. You have no sense of duty or obligation. Leaf has already expressed resistance to the marriage, even though she was well aware of the details. Now I worry she'll hide behind her sister to end the engagement altogether. Oh my god, you need a kick in the dick. You didn't mention any of this. As much as you hate to think of it, William's death would get her out of this arranged marriage. blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we're done with him. Thank God, I'm done talking with him. What was William doing? Leaf Freyga seems to be hiding what her father was doing. So the will was being updated to not re-include Beatrice, but to include Jaden. I don't even think that it's relevant, but William Freyga has many enemies, da-da-da. Is there something you're not telling us, Leaf? Let's check her profile. You just met her, Leaf Freyga, today, and she has no reason to trust you. She believes Beatrice is innocent over everything else. She's usually sincere, so it's unlikely she's actually involved with her father's murder. She might react well if you respond with similar sincerity. Feeling you know more than you're letting on. What? What's your father doing in his study? I already told you, I don't know. I have no idea what my father was doing. He was a private man. He wouldn't share something like that with me. Nope. Oh, shit. No idea what my father was doing. Oh, yeah, because I know her thoughts. He was making some sort of change to his will, wasn't he? What? Did someone else tell him? So why do you find the need to hide this from us? I didn't! The thoughts you saw earlier seem to disagree with that. I've only just met today, so I understand if you don't trust us. The Inquisition thinks that Beatrice murdered your father, and they claim that she did so for his inheritance. It's absolutely absurd. Regardless, your father's inheritance is likely a motive behind his murder. Many people would have a lot to gain from his death, including you. Excuse me? I was not involved in this. How could you even think I'd be capable of something like this? I didn't mean to imply you were, but it's clear that the murderer's motive was to take control of House Freyga. This means their plan heavily relied on who William Freyga was leaving his assets to. So I need to know, Miss Freyga, how was your father planning to change his will? I don't know. I was never aware of the details of my father's will. I already told you my father was a secretive man. He didn't share any of the details of his estate with me. No, but you would have known from the engagement. Is that really true, though? What? I already know about your arranged marriage to Jaden von Sanctus. I also know, as part of this deal, Jaden would inherit House Freyga instead of you. You definitely knew about this, and you heavily resisted the marriage in an attempt to stall it. Which means you had some idea how your father's will was arranged. So what aren't you telling me, Miss Freyga? I can't trust you. What? You're here on behalf of Crown Prince Aster. The four Pillar families and the Crown have much to gain from my father's death. How can you assure me this information won't be used against my family? So that's why she's being so secretive. There's nothing I can possibly say to make you trust me. But please understand, I'm only trying to find out who murdered your father. To do that, I need to know everything he was doing that night. It's amazing how admitting how untrustworthy you are can make you more trustworthy. I have no reason to trust you. But somehow, I can tell you're being sincere. Will you really protect Beatrice? You're about to reassure that you will, but something in your back of your mind stops you. I'll get to the truth of what really happened. Okay. If that's truly what you're planning to do, I'll tell you what I know. I wasn't trying to be uncooperative, but I didn't know who I could trust. Considering the circumstances, it's perfectly understandable. I'm not sure why, but my father was extremely upset that night. According to him, Beatrice had returned and was even more impudent than before. Must have been angry about something she said during their meeting. Did he tell you what their meeting was about? He didn't, and I honestly really didn't care. I was just so happy my sister had finally returned. My father clearly felt the opposite. Before he entered his study, he told me he'd be pruning the family tree. He was going to disinherit my sister and several other members of our family. Probably started drafting a new will to reflect that decision. Has anyone found the draft of this will? No. It's one of the first things I looked for after the investigation. Modified will is missing? He doubted even being forced. Never got a chance to submit it for probate before he died. Can't discount the possibility that the murderer destroyed it. Did anyone else know about this? No one. I didn't even tell Lady Steelwind when she was questioning me. Because it would have given Beatrice a motive to commit the murder. Anyway, thank you, Miss Frege. Mr. Cuthbert? Yeah? My sister is not a bad person. There's no way she'd do something like this. Despite what she says, she seems to have some doubts. She's in good hands. Ruby Tamura is the one defending her in the trial, after all. I hope so. Anyway, you think you learned everything you can from Leaf. One person to speak to. Harold Haraldson. Christ, the whole display's gone! This is a complete mess. Soon at the gallery, you spot Haraldson expecting the shattered remains of a display case. If you recall correctly, the display case he's looking at held the Sword of Spell Eating. Oh, Mr. Cuthbert, I had a feeling I'd be seeing you again. He's working for the Crown Prince. Can he be trusted? Seems word has spread about your deal with Aster. Hello again, Mr. Haraldson. Harold. Right, Harold. I'm sure you already know I'm investigating the murder of William Frege. And the prosecution suspects that someone used the Sword of Spell Eating to break into Lord Frege's room. I was wondering if I could ask you some questions about the theft last night. I'll tell you what I can, but I'm not sure how much help I'll be. I can't believe a museum owns such a powerful magical item. I would expect the noble houses to take it for themselves. Well, the nobility of today don't have much use for items such as these. The power of a lord is based on politics rather than magical strength. And a noble wouldn't want to wield the sword of a demon, even if the legends are just stories. A demon? Oh, right. The Sword of Spell Eating is said to have been forged from a pact between a demon and a mage. Isn't making a pact with a demon just asking for trouble? Yes, because if this is a D&D based world, you should be only making pacts with devils. They definitely betray you the first chance they got. Well, legends say demons often drafted blood contracts for this reason. Wait, do you mean like a legally binding contract? The concept is similar, but once you sign a blood contract, both you and the demon are magically compelled to fulfill its terms. So that violating its terms will result in instant death for the offender, no matter who it is. So I guess there's some protection. Well, as an attorney, I'm sure you understand it's possible to exploit and use loopholes in any contract. And according to the legends, demons take great pride in their ability to deceive and corrupt people. According to the prosecution, the theft took place during the Lord's Ball. Shouldn't there have been plenty of witnesses in the gallery at that time? That's the strangest thing. Supposedly the gallery room was completely empty when it happened. What? That can't be right. And honestly, I have no idea how anyone would produce enough magic to shatter the display case anyways. Were the wards protecting the case that powerful? They were powerful, but that's not the issue here. It'd be one thing to dispel the wards and remove the glass protecting it, but it's another thing entirely to completely annihilate the abjuration wards and shatter the glass. Doing something like that would require an extremely powerful spell, far more powerful than what would have been needed. Eris is just stinking up this case. So you're saying the force applied was excessive? Yes, that's not the worst of it. It's clear the Sword of Spell Eating wasn't the only item that was stolen. What? Was another artifact stolen that night? You mentioned another item was stolen. Yes, it's extremely concerning. After the Sword of Spell Eating was reported missing, I checked the other exhibits. That's when I discovered the armbands of intellect, sure enough, have been stolen as well. Thank you. Mikhail Burr, Soviet Union. Ooh. Interesting. You look at the glass case where the armbands used to be. They've been removed, but the glass case is completely intact. Thief didn't shatter the glass. Exactly. Moreover, the armbands were actually replaced with a very well-made replica. What? What's going on here? The two thefts are completely different. Are they even related? Or did two different thieves coincidentally steal from Harold that night? You mentioned someone would have needed a powerful spell to shatter the display case. Wouldn't that narrow down the list of suspects for the theft? Not everyone attending the ball could cast spells that powerful. Well, according to the Inquisition, Beatrice Frega's magic was powerful enough to have done this. Discounting the fact she's completely blind. Yes, I'm well aware of that, and it doesn't quite sit right with me either. Is there anyone else at the Lord's Ball capable of matching Beatrice's power? Only the heads of the 4 pillars could have evoked magic this powerful. But apparently, Beatrice is an exception to that. Is she really that powerful? Or is she being scapegoated by one of the house leaders? But the cases can be opened normally, can't they? Otherwise, how would you transport the artifacts from place to place? Ah, yes, the magical locks can be disabled. He's like some fear. Is he hiding something? How are they normally disabled? They can be turned on and off using a spoken password. How many people know this password? Only myself. I personally oversee the transport of the items when they're being moved. Interesting. So Harold could have stolen the sword that night. Could he have staged the robbery to cover his tracks? No, no shot. Harold, a witness told us that you got into an argument with William Frege on the night of the murder. Was William Frege planning on defunding the Harrelson Hall of History? Yes, he was. He made that very clear. But that doesn't mean I had anything to do with his murder. We're not saying you did, but I need to explore every possibility. It was the monkey! Eugene, you little bastard! So I need to ask, did your argument that night turn hostile? I'll admit our discussion turned heated, but it never escalated to threats or violence. With how insulting he was, it should have. William was being unreasonable, and I was frustrated. That's all there was to it. He deserved what happened to him. The eye shows more resentment with anything on. I can't disagree with him, though. Avoid flu loves pickled mushrooms and vodka. Speaking of Void Floof, Ollie, have you seen this animation called Cat Sing Call? Me and Math saw it the other day, and honestly, the more I think about it, the more perfect it seems for you. And the idea of Void Floof is what made me think of it. No, not casting. Cat Sing. There we are. It's actually 6 years old. How did I not realize that? I DM'd it to you. Do you have any conflicts with him prior to that night? We have had disagreements in the past. He was receiving pressure from the royal family about what I was displaying in my museum. The king believed that some of my exhibits were too controversial for the public eye. What do you mean? I'm sure you've noticed the rising tension between the common folk and the nobility. I don't want to shy away from the bloodier parts of Wyverngarde's history. The citizens must know about these parts of history, otherwise we're liable to repeat them. However, the king believed that my historical exhibits did nothing but dig up old wounds. Nothing but simpletons, a lot of them. Nobility thinks they can smooth public relations by censoring history, as if they couldn't get any worse. This honestly, I kind of want to play We the People after this, which is basically another Phoenix Wright-esque game, but it takes place during the French Revolution, and you're arguing for decapitation. From what I've heard. I've never played it myself. I've owned it for years, but when did I buy it? We the Revolution. Last played for 1 minute on November 7th, 2024. Second. Sorry about that. Anyway, it's clear that Harold is passionate about his work. That passion drive him far enough to commit murder, though. Thank you for your time, Harold. Did I not say Harold? Yeah, I did say Harold. Harold. I think we'll be on our way now. A lot of info, but none of it really leads anywhere. So many people had a motive to murder William Frege, but who actually did it? Perhaps you should take some time to review everything you've learned. Motives aside, let's go over the events that happened that night. It all started when the Sword of Spell Eating was stolen. What do we know about the thief of the Sword of Spell Eating? We have a specific suspect. We do know something about them. The thief is a powerful mage. Well, we just saw that. It's the only way they could have shattered the magically reinforced glass. What about Harold? He could have just unlocked it using his password. He could have stolen the sword and staged a robbery, but he couldn't have shattered the glass. A powerful mage could have done that. I doubt Harold would lie about that. We could easily confirm it was Steelwind. Right, but what happened next? They brazenly stole the Sword of Spell Eating. This called Harold to report the theft to the King's Guard. And there's Leaf's statement. What does this tell us about William Frege? He was a piece of shit? Leaf's account gives us a clear fact about when William died. Okay. Well, William died after the lockdown activated. William Frege was murdered after the lockdown was activated. This means whoever killed him bypassed the lock and broke into the magically locked room. They had to have used a sword, right? It's likely, but not necessary. An anti-magic field would have also had the same effect. The murderer could have stolen the Sword of Spell Eating to throw off the investigation. But anti-magic field is a high-level spell. Not many mages would be able to cast it. I doubt any of the nobles here would let them see their spell compendiums. Because of how powerful anti-magic field is, we could still conclude the murderer is a powerful mage. This actually narrows down our list of suspects. Still not concrete evidence, though. We haven't even spoken to all the suspects yet. Right, you never got a chance to talk with Lucio Steelwind. Given his status, you wonder if that'd even be possible. Either way, it's a good start. It's not as we're defending the case. The trial's getting close anyway. You don't doubt Miss Timora's abilities, but you should share what you learned with her before the trial begins. It's a little strange you haven't seen her since the investigation began. She might be meeting with Beatrice at the dungeon. So, remember, when this all started, Timora was pissed because we had seen something from Beatrice with the eye. You arrive at the dungeon and search for Miss Timora. Wasn't at the crime scene, so she must be here to discuss the case with Beatrice. Or at least that's what you thought, but you don't see her anywhere. Oh, Mr. Cuthbert. Oh, hi. How did she know? You were so caught up with your thoughts, you didn't notice you were walking right in front of Beatrice's spell. Bitch! I didn't expect to see you here. Celeste lets out a shriek as Eris approaches you two from behind. For a split second, you see her hand dart towards her sword. It appears she still hasn't gotten over her instinctual fear of Eris. Eris, what are you doing here? Beatrice is actually an acquaintance of my father. He sent me here to help her through this ordeal. That brings up many more questions, but you really don't have time to pull on that thread. You've less than an hour before the trial begins. You need to find Miss Timora. Have you seen Miss Timora? Some things to share with her. She was just here, but she left to receive some documents from her office. You have any idea when she'll be back? Didn't say, but if your discussion has something to do with the case, I could pass a message on to her. I feel a little hesitant for some reason, but it is her life on the line. If anyone should know about what you found in your investigation, it's her. Let me tell you what I know. I see. You've certainly been very thorough. Yes, but I have no concrete evidence that points to anyone. We underestimated him. If he reveals these findings to Prince Aster, he might suspect something. I'm sorry? What? Sorry, I was just deep in thought. You were able to catch one of those thoughts. Beatrice, I'm sure you're aware that Prince Aster has your best interests at heart. I know. Even we haven't spoken in the last 5 years, I still consider him a dear friend. I suppose you have no issue with me sharing these findings with him. Of course not. This is bad. Even he wouldn't support us if I knew that I was involved. Wait, what was that? Her thoughts just said that she was involved. Did she actually murder her father? Is something wrong, Mr. Cuthbert? You look a little pale. Beatrice was actually behind this? How? She's completely blind. She couldn't have navigated through the manor and avoided the guards. No, you must be taking her thoughts out of context. Mr. Cuthbert, perhaps you should get some rest. You look dreadfully tired. You think very carefully about what to say next. There's only one way to get a certain answer to the eye. If you're wrong. Beatrice, you weren't actually involved in this, were you? Tyrion? You see her gaze narrow in response to your question. Once again, she claps her hands together. She's clearly trying to stay calm. Do you suspect me now, Mr. Cuthbert? You didn't answer my question, Beatrice. As if I'd even need to justify it with a response. But no, Mr. Cuthbert, I was not responsible for my father's murder. At least, not directly. I was technically an accomplice. An accomplice? Did she work together with someone? Cuthbert? Miss Timora? Your mentor seems to have sensed the mood in the air. She raises an eyebrow at you. Miss Timora, can I speak with you alone for a second? Okay. What's wrong? Is everything okay? Miss Timora, Beatrice, she actually did murder William Frege. Miss Timora's gaze narrows. Her eyes dart around the room to make sure the guards didn't overhear you. What are you talking about? How can you possibly know that? I use the Eye of Horus on her. She conspired with someone else to orchestrate William Frege's death. Have you told anyone else about this? No, it's not as if they believe me anyway. You're the only other person who knows about my abilities. Yeah, okay, you know what? Hold on. Mappy, really good point. Where is it? Look dreadfully tired. Really good point. And once again, if we check, unable to see anything through her eyes. Okay. Just stay quiet about this for the time being. Anyway, I need to get ready. The trial starts in a half hour. What? You're not seriously going to defend her, are you? Of course I am. I'm her attorney. But she's guilty. I saw it. Look, at this point, I don't know what you saw. Think I could just abandon a client minutes before the trial? No, but... Well, and not to mention, Sean, if it was a magical accident that caused her blindness, maybe it did give her, yeah, like you're saying, second sight, spectral sight, soul sight, something. It's not for either of us to decide who's guilty and who's not. Everyone has a right to an attorney. Our court system needs a defense attorney and a prosecutor to keep things fair. More importantly, you have no right to use the Eye of Horus on my client without my permission. What? But I don't have time to argue with this. We will be talking about this later. Before you have a chance to respond, Miss Timora walks away. Celeste sees both of you and awkwardly approaches you. Hey, Tyrion? Is everything okay? Celeste, I think Beatrice was actually behind this. What? You don't blame her for not believing you. It's not as if you can tell her about the Eye of Horus. Although, why haven't you told her? Alright, I believe you. What? You wouldn't say something like that if you weren't sure, right? But if what you're saying is true, what do we do now? You think long and hard for a moment. I don't think we need to do anything. What? Steelwind's handling the prosecution. She's definitely no pushover. If Beatrice is truly guilty, I'll just have to trust her to get the job done. Either way, I don't think we're in any position to get involved. Alright, if you say so. It's really none of your business. You have no stake in this. You're not obligated to do anything. You've done everything you can. It's in their hands now. It's none of your business. This isn't your fight. William Frege was a tyrant and a bigot anyway. He's a noble who did nothing but steal wealth from the common folk. The world is better off without him. It's not as if you didn't try. All you have to do is wait for the trial to run its course.
Objection!
Your Honor, I'm afraid you can't pass a verdict just yet. Mr. Cuthbert? Cuthbert, what the hell are you doing? I don't know. But what I do know is there was a massive contradiction in Miriam Frege's testimony. Who are you kidding? As if you were ever the type of person to stand by and do nothing. And we will pick that up tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, but next week. Although, to be frank, I kind of want to just override my... I kind of want to override my stream tomorrow just to get back to this, because this is getting real good. I might do that. I might not. I am having fun with the Pokemon Nuzlocke, but this has gotten really, really good. I'll make a post asking about it. If y'all have any thoughts on it, go ahead and just comment on it. If you don't. It's fine. In any case, I will wrap up a little early tonight just because it's such a good spot to stop. thank you all for joining me tonight. And I appreciate all your time. To be honest, I'm kind of wiped still. And I still got to cook dinner tonight. Maffy would kill me if she came home and there weren't sloppy joes on her plate. So, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Like I said, I'll put up a post, see what you guys think, if we should just roll right into the next... continue tomorrow, or if we should wait till next week. But, either way, yeah, thank you for coming. And that'll be it for tonight. I do need to stall, as I completely forgot to get my outro set up. Honestly, I'm kind of in between on it, because, like, on one hand, I don't know. I honestly don't know. But, yes. Sorry, I don't know why I'm so out of it all of a sudden. Maybe the con crud's kicking my ass more than I thought. Who knows? Or maybe it's just allergies, you know? Playlist, that's what I'm looking for. So, I'll say it again. Yeah, thank you, Sean. You take care, too. If anyone... Well, I'm here, actually. If anyone is part of the Vortex, or Snortex, Iviga's still streaming, I highly recommend you head back over there. Tell them I sent you. Anyone who wants more gameplay, though, let me go ahead and link our girl, Hiro. Hiro is a wonderful Japanese streamer. She does do her streams in English, but she does have kind of a thick accent, so, you know, hold on, trying to pull up our stream. Right now, she is playing... Oh, I forgot to change the title. My title's been wrong this whole time. There we go. Yeah, she's playing Katamari Damacy right now. So, give her a look. Tell her Dapper sent you. She actually will know me by name. I strongly recommend her. And in any case, have a good night, everybody. Sleep well, and see you tomorrow. Stay golden.